Jay in Backyard Woodworks. I'm getting ready to turn down a piece of 2x4 that I've ripped in half. It looks like a 1x1 right now. And I'm going to try to attempt to make a sword. So now here's the piece of wood that I've cut in half. Trimmed it down. It's 1.5 inch square. And I used a 30 degrees cut on my chop saw to give it a point, and then I used a centering device template that I have to come up with the center on this, and I've just squeezed it together. Took a few minutes for me to actually move that back, even though it's got a loosening on it. I can slide it back, but for many years now, for at least 2 or 3 years, it's pretty much been stuck right here turning pins. So this is something new to me. I'm going to try, see where we go. So at this point I've turned it on a slow RPM, the slowest one I've got, and I went back and forth across my tool rest, and I've taken off some of the corners. It's starting to round out some, and I'll move down and do this end so that I'll stay consistent across the piece. Right now it's starting to look just like a table leg, and not sure how I'm going to make it into a sword, but we'll give it a whirl and see what happens. I started thinking about how I was making the piece, and I was turning down this end and realized at some point I'm going to want to put a handle, the little decorative shield piece that goes across here, and I'm going to want enough room on the end for a grip. So I gripped out the size of this sword based on my hand, figuring my son's hand is going to be a little bit smaller. Hopefully I'll be able to get an end piece here, a nice turn down section here, and I'm going to want this section in the middle to be square to mount, to hook my I don't know, cross piece into it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it off and not turn that section. I'm going to try to keep this as square as possible to mount those other pieces too. From then out I'm going to taper this down to a sword. I want it to be a more or less a flat, like a blade, but going in this direction it looks like it's going to be more like a pokey stick, so I'll make some modifications to it in a little while. I went back to my original idea, grabbed a piece of plywood, roughed out a handle I wanted, made 2 of them, and I will be attaching them to the sword. Took a 1/4 inch drill and drilled all the way through, and then ran a piece of dowel all the way through. I drilled the ends of the sword handles just about 1 inch in, and then the dowel goes in about 3/4 of an inch. A little bit of expansion inside. I think we're going to be alright because it's 2x4 and plywood handles for a little bit more rigidity. And then I've put some glue on it, put the glue on the dowel to hold it in, and got a little pressure on this to help. And then I'm going to start applying some color to it. And oh, I also went ahead and blunted the tip of it a little bit. It's got a little bit of shape to it, but it's rough, and it'll make its own shape once some kid starts, or adult starts beating the side of a house or something with it, playing with it. Who knows? It'll take on its own shape over time.